Hello, and welcome back to another Minecraft Let's Play video with me, Elven Dragon, here on Squidcraft, Liara's patron server. So last episode we went and built up a very decorative entrance for our base, with a little bit of a custom biome, and today we are back in the mostly unfinished part of our base, building up a few more trees. But you've seen lots of that, so instead what we're going to focus on today is getting in the last couple farms that I have planned for this area. So when I set out here, I got these two shulker boxes over here that have all of the stuff for all of the farms that I thought I would need, or at least everything that I can farm. And we have a couple here that we still have to do. Now, I think I want to do the Nether Wart, and I think I want to do a little greenhouse for the crops as well. I might do something small for the sweet berries and the roots. And I think that's probably about it. I might put in a small shack for the dripstone as well, kind of like what I'm going to do for the rooted dirt, which is very similar to the ones that we have for our cheaty furnace and our cocoa bean farm. But let's start off with the Nether Wart, and I think we are going to put this over here. This area is feeling very buildingless. Maybe it's just because we got so many in the rest of the base, and all we can see from here is the storage building. So I have this space here marked out, and what I'm thinking is we're just going to build up a little greenhouse, kind of like what we built a couple episodes ago for the plant nursery. And instead of having shelves with various plants and such, we're just going to put the soul sand here in the bottom, and this should be more than enough for what we are going to need. I got a stack of soul sand. This, I don't think we'll have a stack of soul sand available for space, especially if I divide this into quarters for easy access, but we will see. So I guess I'm going to go get that all built up then, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so I've gotten most of the walls here in, and I'm looking at this and realizing there's a better material we could be using for this, and that is blackstone. It fits a bit better with the fact that this is a Netherwar farm, because, well, it's from the nether. And it will also make it so that this one is a little bit different than the other greenhouse that we built, which I think is probably a good thing. Also, I really haven't built with much blackstone around here, so might as well. So I am going to swap all this out for blackstone. We can reuse the andesite later, but I think that that is going to be a nice change for this building. So I guess I'll be back once it's actually got everything done. All right, there we go. We now have the main part of the building done. All that remains is to put in the centerpiece here. And what I'm thinking is we're going to do warp stems down the middle with two things of crimson stems. And I think that will look pretty good. We'll just bookend those like that. And then I think we'll do crimson plank in the middle. I may have to get a thing of wood or maybe a thing of polished basalt. Actually, I think polished basalt would go really nicely there. But the nether wart is basically grown in these four pads, and these planks are basically here to allow you to walk between them without having to go over it. Because, surprise, surprise, I don't actually have any soul speed. And eventually we'll be able to come and fortune this so we can get more and hopefully fill out all four pads, which will be quite nice. Now, I do need to get a door for this. I think probably birch, maybe dark oak, but probably jungle like we've been doing for a lot of our builds. But now I think it's time we went and built up the other greenhouse I want to do, which is for the food crops. And I think that one's going to be the same as the nursery because the andesite actually kind of fits. And I think we'll probably put it right over here. We have this nice big flat area of netherite, and stone. Wrong block. I was originally going to put in a overly complicated dripstone farm, but to be perfectly honest, I have no clue what I want to do for that. And I think putting in something a bit more practical is a little bit better. So I'm going to figure out exactly where I want to put this, and then I guess I will be back. Alright, so just like the Netherwar Farm, we're going to put these in 4x4 sections. And then right in the middle, we will have our water source, which should be enough to water all of this farmland. But leading up to it, we're going to have a simple little pattern that is just spruce, oak, and acacia. Acacia's there mostly for a little bit of color. Kind of separate this out, and I think it looks pretty good. So let's get that central slab waterlogged so we can test to see if this is actually going to hydrate all the farmland. And I guess we will test with this patch here, because if that won't all stay watered, then we have a problem. Because if that far corner is a little bit too far away to hydrate with the one water source, we may have to shift the floor around a bit, or at least transform some of the solid blocks to slabs, so we can add a few more water sources in here, which is not that much of a problem, but if I can get by with just the one water source, I would prefer that. So while we wait to see if those far corners will either get turned back to dirt or become hydrated farmland, I think what we're going to do is put in the stained glass window. Now, what I have planned for this is we're just going to have some brown stained glass, and then we're going to do a thing for carrots, beets, and potatoes. And I completely forgot the glass for the greens. There we go. That's better. Now, obviously, we can't have them separated on the top, but I think that'll be fine. Now, I also realized that I forgot to do this for the Netherwar Farm, so we're going to do that here in a second. And for that, we're just going to do a much simpler design. We're just going to have one block for the soul soil, and then we're going to do a small little netherwart plant. I need another red glass there, but I think that'll be good for that farm. But first, I want to make sure that this farm is going to actually work and get this fully set up. And it's hydrating every piece of farmland in here around it, other than the one I'm trying to make sure will actually be hydrated. Okay, there we go. So I guess what we're going to do is we'll just do potatoes in this one. Hopefully there's enough light from that one glow shroom. Otherwise, I think everything else around here will be enough to keep this well lit. Put beetroot, wheat, and carrots. And I need a few more potatoes and carrots to go and get those fully filled in, but other than that, I think this is pretty good. Like the other two greenhouses, we still need the door, but I think that will finish these little houses. They are mostly for decoration, even though I'm calling them a farm, because I'm probably never going to use these. But I think that they will be pretty nice. They'll add a little bit of... They kind of fit in with the area anyway, because again, they are greenhouses, and we are growing plants. So I think they work. Alright, so now that the last of the big building farms are in, I think what I want to do for this last big chunk of area here is a little statue garden. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a fountain in the middle. We'll have a path going around the outside. I think for that I'm just going to use the rooted dirt, podzol, and coarse dirt paths that I used over by the campsite way over there. And we'll just mark this out with rooted dirt just because I have quite a bit of that. So that's gonna curve around through here. We'll put statues down and around. And we'll connect up with the pathway here. On the other side, we'll have a more direct path going into the center here. We'll have loops around all the way through here, and I'll probably put a small hedge or something along there. I think we'll do a small little flower arch on that side and on the other side to kind of gate it in. And we're going to have a little bit of trouble on this side because it does not connect up to the path in a straight segment. So that's going to be fun. Let's just put it along the straight segment over here. Actually, you know what? Let's shift that back a couple blocks there. So it's actually on the part that's marked as straight. So that will be able to arch up and over. And yeah, I think that will be good. And we'll just have a few statues scattered about with the fountain in the middle. And I think that that will work quite well for this area. So I guess I'm going to go get those paths done up and dug out, the armor stand set up, and then I guess I will be back. Alright, there we go. We now have all of the paths and all of the statues marked out. And the fountain here is also dug out. I'm not quite sure what to do for the walls, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to do quartz and calcite for the center. Fortunately, there's no blocks of this, and that is actually a little too tall, I think. So I think we're just going to make that too tall, and then we're going to put another armor stand on there with a quartz mini block for the head. These guys will all have gray armor, but we'll put some light gray on this guy. And then I think we'll probably pour water down the sides, because I don't think we can waterlog the feet of the armor stand without him moving. Unless... You know what? I think there's something that we can make it so he won't move with the armor stand pack. So I'm going to have to take a look at that. I might get some quartz slabs, I think, to go around the outside. But for the statues here, what I'm thinking is we're going to have the regular stone. And I grabbed a few mob heads here just for fun. I think these should look kind of fun, silly just as statues around in here. We're just going to kind of put those in randomly. And I think that that will go nicely and just make this area a little bit better than if I just did stone mini blocks for every single armor stand. So we've got a few different statues instead of multiple copies of the same one. And I think that'll be good. I do kind of like that look. I think I need to spread out some of the mob head ones a little bit better, so that they're not kind of all clumped in the back here along the outside. But I'm going to go get that armor crafted up and figure out how we're doing the wall of the fountain. And then I will be back. And there we go. That is everything in place. I have all the grass in. And I think the only thing left would be to maybe put a couple lanterns in around here. Just some small ones, I think. Just do kind of similar to what we have elsewhere in the base. So that, instead of doing the full ones, maybe? You know what? Let's just do the full lanterns. That way it will match the rest of the base with the lanterns. The other idea I thought to do would be just to put the fence post with the lantern on top, which I think I like that a little bit better, actually, for this section. It helps differentiate it from the main paths and gives it a little bit smaller feel, because those other lampposts are taller than our statues, it looks like. And maybe they're about the same size. So having the smaller lamps through here, I think, will definitely help. And other than that, this area is done. Quite happy with it. I think this adds quite a bit to this small center section of the base. And now all we have left to do is finish the multitude of trees. It looks like our torches, or rather end rods for lighting up the base to keep endermen from spawning, are a little too far apart for all of our jungle trees to grow, so I've had to grab some more out to try and encourage that. But with that, our base is coming along quite nicely. We are just about done. So with that, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing. And I will catch you all in the next one. Goodbye.